Well, welcome to our program. It's all in numbers. I'm Tom Perrone from New England Consulting Group, and this show is being sponsored by Business and Personal Benefit Planning Group. And today we've invited our friend Armen Abrahamian, who is a specialist in long-term care funding and helping people protect their assets from critical illness and long-term confinement. And Armen has some slides and some information he's going to go through. And I'm going to hand the baton to him in a moment. But if you need to get in touch with Armen, you can email him at armen@ltcstrategies.com or call him at 203-234-8566. Now, during the show, if you have any questions, please email me at armen@ltcstrategies.com. We're going to handle a few of those questions as we go along our way. So with that, I'd like to handle this over to Armen. Armen, thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Tom. So it's good to be here, Tom.
Well, thank you for your time. And today you're going to go through some of the critical issues that we have to deal with and also maybe some of the funding. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. You know, I put up on the screen over here a statistic that 70% of Americans over 65 will face a long-term illness, and that can easily exceed a six-figure, $100,000 a year cost. And these costs are expected to triple in the next 20 years. So, you know, our clients can do everything right, Tom. They can diversify their investments. They can do their tax planning, set up a great retirement plan, insure themselves against the threat of their home burning down and disability and anything else, life insurance and so forth. But towards the end of life, statistically, what happens is a long-term illness comes along unexpectedly, wipes everything out. And most people don't understand the facts, are not prepared. It impacts their families dramatically. It's an enormous emotional, physical, and financial liability. And the burden of care is just extremely high. It beats up on families. So preparing for this is critical.
We just got an email, and I think this slide really answers the question, but Bob from Hartford emailed this question. He said, why is LTC planning important?
Okay, so again, let's talk statistics and probability. 70% of Americans are going to have this happen to them. Now, if you live in Connecticut, a nursing home in Connecticut, Tom, is $12,000 to $15,000 per month. That's $400 to $500 per day. Just exorbitant costs, would wipe out and bankrupt most of us in a short period of time. Thank God assisted living facilities, I'll just a couple more quick statistics. Assisted living facilities are $6,000 to $10,000 a month, and home care can easily be that amount of money and more. So why is it important? The costs are just extraordinary.
And that's after tax dollars.
That's right.
That's right. And another email we got that maybe you can help us out with from Sally from Brantford. What about Medicare and health insurance? Won't they pay?
That's a great question. There have been so many misunderstandings regarding Medicare, health insurance, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to click over to this slide over here. There are only three ways to pay, and Medicare and health insurance are not either of those. Number one, you go through your savings and investments. You literally bankrupt yourself. Long-term care insurance solutions, which are some of the options we'll share, I'd love to share with your audience this morning. But once you've exhausted your assets, Tom, Medicaid becomes everybody's parachute cord, and you have to impoverish yourself. So, for example, real quickly, I don't know if the caller was single or married, but a single person can only keep $1,600 in assets. So they go through all their savings, all their investments, have to sell the home. The state puts a lien on the home, okay? And you're spending $6, $8, $10, $15,000 a month until you're down to a measly $1,600. That's all that's left. Then you can go on Medicaid. A married couple, in that case, the state does not want the healthy spouse to be kicked out of the home. They allow the healthy community spouse to remain at home and keep a maximum of just a shade over $120,000. But otherwise, everything goes. IRAs, money markets, CDs, stocks, bonds, you name it, it's all gone. Then they go on Medicaid. But do not count on Medicare. Do not count on health insurance.
Armen, Betsy from Hamden basically kind of followed up with that same question, but the question was, well, what is the solution as far as protecting these assets?
Okay, so let me click ahead over here. Really, the solution is to purchase financial insurance, some form of financial insurance. You know, when you look at the risks that we face today, if we have a family, if we have a home, we protect our home, we protect our automobiles, we buy insurance, we protect the things that are important to us that are so costly that they would impact our life if for example, the home were to burn down. Well, what about financial insurance? What about protecting our retirement dollars? What about protecting our estate against this tremendous threat? So some form of protection is critical, and there are different ways and different solutions, but we have to ask ourselves, as we see here on the screen, without taking any steps, without taking measures, which assets would you use to pay for long-term care? Where would you get your first $10,000 or $15,000 this month? Would it be your IRA, money market, emergency fund? Would it be a college fund that maybe you've set up for a grandchild? What are you going to go after?
Yes, and we see a lot of cases where people are not prepared and they start taking money out of their IRAs, which causes a tax. So it's costing 30-40% more money to fund long-term care costs through an IRA. And that's a good question. Frank from East Haven wrote in and he said, so how do you know which plan to buy? And to him, he said, it's been very confusing.
Well,
do you use a process, Armen?
I do. And actually, I'm putting up here on the screen the various solutions. And, you know, if somebody were to go about this on their own, Tom, it is very confusing. Look at all the possible solutions over here. The process is to sit down with the individual or the couple and find out what's important to them. Okay, what are their goals, their family structure, the family dynamics, understand their health, which is critical in this process, and their overall financial status or financial situation, I should say, and their plans for retirement. Are they going to move out of state? Are they going to stay in state? Are there special needs, maybe a special needs child or grandchild? So their input is critical. And Tom, this is a process, because this is not a quick sit down, sign on the dotted line, and take care of this. It's a process of understanding what exactly is important and is motivating to this client or this prospective client. And then what we do is we represent all the companies and all the various strategies out there. And as you can see here on the screen, I mean, there's traditional long-term care insurance. There are Connecticut partnership plans, a very, very successful program that guarantees protection of assets. There are hybrid plans where you're combining life insurance with large amounts, really leveraging up dollars for long-term care. There are life insurance plans with LTC benefits, with living benefits. You don't have to die to collect on your life insurance. You can use it for home care, assisted living facilities. And actually today there are a number of annuity products that provide substantial, very significant tax advantages for using those annuities for long-term care expense. The Pension Protection Act passed a few years ago enables us to do that. And there are annuities today for people who are in ill health already, maybe cannot buy long-term care insurance protection or one of these other plans, and the ill health actually gives them more value, gets more value out of their annuity to be able to stretch those dollars further in order to pay for long-term care.
Armen, I know before the show when we were talking, you said that if any of the listeners, and we have many listeners today because this broadcast is a couple of thousand people, and that's why we can't take all the emails, but you did say that if people wanted to speak to you on the phone with no charge to get an idea what they're doing, you'd be willing to talk to them for a period of time. We know in this process it's a lot more than, you know, A, B, and C. You have to spend a little time to make sure you right decisions. So I am going to encourage anybody who's got these questions and is going through this process who would like to speak to you, Armen. You don't have any problem with that?
Not at all.
And I will give them your number before we end here. But I'm going to handle one more question, and it's from Julian from Westville. And Julian said, what's my next step? And I think what he meant was, when I get through this data, what's my next what's my next step to planning? Oh, I'm sorry. And also he says, what's the best time and best age to start planning?
Well, those are all great, very, very logical questions. You know, as far as the best time, the sooner the better, at least to get information. You know, the premiums and the benefits and the leveraging that you're going to get out of these programs are based on your age and based on your health. So you'll never be younger and typically healthier than you are today. I will say the average age is 50 to 55 years old today, looking at solving this problem and taking some steps. So, and you don't want to wait until some crippling health illness has come to you and you're dealing with that and then trying to get into some of the better plans. But I think you want to get educated on the subject, sit down, like you said, there's no cost, there's no obligation, get the facts, get the information. Very often the individual might want to speak with their attorney or CPA. We do that all the time in terms of consulting with the other folks that may be involved in the decision making. And then it really, the process, it becomes very, very fluid. You know, this is consultative. This is working together as a team to come up with the best solution. We're going to look at the pros and the cons of all of these options. And,
well, you know, just to interrupt you because of time, but you've done many of our clients, and we know how you work, and you're very thorough, and I can only endorse you because you've done such a great job. And I know you do a lot of work for the state of Connecticut. So Armen, we want to thank you. Armen, I have to close, but is there anything else that you would like to mention before we go?
I would just again come right back to the first item or first issue, which is, you know, this is a critical piece of your overall financial planning and family planning. It impacts the greatest assets we have, which are the dollars and cents that we've saved up from a lifetime of hard work, and the other even greater asset, our family, our loved ones. So make it a point to not stick our head in the sand, so to speak, and just kind of pretend this doesn't exist. This is going to hit the vast majority of us. Be prepared, get the facts, and you'll know what decision is the right one to make.
With that, I'm going to give the audience your contact information, and it is Armen at long-term or ltcstrategies.com. And you can call Armen's office at 203-234-8577.
8566.
8566. There you go. But Armen, I want to thank you for taking the time and contributing to this program. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Tom.